Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Gyan Murtim Dvandvatītam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatītam Tirgunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adoration of Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, the one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha, Upashama Prakarana, section 82. Sage Vitahavya practices Vichar, inquiry into who am I. And that's being presented by Sage Vasistha to Sri Rama. The basic purpose is for seekers, aspirants to learn the art of inquiry. All the historical details are just the setup. So Vitahavya says, as if he is talking to the Chitta. Again, this also is allegorical. You don't sit back and just talk. Chitta, Chitta, come. Listen. And Chitta sits near you. Simple point, how to allow your subtle understanding to figure out the purpose of your soul, the role of your Chitta. And through the Chitta you attain liberation. And it is through the Chitta that you stay in the state of bondage. What is that Chitta? What is all the Chitta can do and all about it? But that you don't ask a question. A subtle aspiration to discover operates in a spontaneous way. Everyone wants to know the deeper reality of yourself. That's an urge. And as you move in your sadhana in a correct way with integral yoga, that a divine interest enters your heart to go on exploring the goal of your life. And the goal is nowhere else, but it consists in discovering your spiritual identity. First you have to understand, ego is not your identity. Then if ego is not, because ego doesn't stay with you all the time. Your waking ego is different from dream ego. And ego just runs away in deep sleep. Ego is just a monkey jumping upon your neck, taken over all your personality, but keeps the legs, raga, dvesha, strictly around your neck, controlling you. So much so, you lost your own identity. This is me, the monkey. And the more you say it, the more the monkey likes. So how to get out of this monkey business? Whenever there is more sattva in your mind, and if you are already introducing your mind to the Vedantic way of understanding who am I, then automatically that insight begins to grow. It doesn't sit on a chair near you see. And start using palabras. But your insight begins to grow. And then palabras begin to help you. When that state has come, you introduce to your mind Shuddhosmi, Buddhosmi, Niranjanosmi. Take anything from the scriptures about the self. So many affirmations are there. So, choose affirmations that inspire your mind and start allowing your mind to relax more and more in order that your understanding deepens. That deepens automatically. And after your meditation or your vichar, you come back with deep inspiration and understanding. Then you can make more palabras. When you begin to share what you had, now you use your words and your imagination, your artistry. But while you are practicing it, it is not words, etc. It's a deeper inspiration. All that you are experiencing, expansion, inner joy. But when you do that, your intellect doesn't stay quiet. It begins to open its eyes. It's a big cat. Looking for a rat. So that's the keeping that in understanding. Now follow the various statements. O Chitta, when you proceed towards enlightenment, you are negated. And the self that sustains your illusory existence shines forth in its own glory. All these are very advanced state of insight. And what's that insight? Think of Chitta being a cloud. And allegorically, Chitta plays the role of a cloud. A cloud that is presenting the sun to your eyes depending upon its intensity, depending upon its status. If cloud is too dense, the sun doesn't exist. That's easy to understand. In other words, if the Chitta is too dense with klishta samskaras, with klishta vrittis are ignorance, egoism, attachment, hatred, fear of death. If these have become abundant in your Chitta, Chitta is like a dark cloud. Now, in that state, someone says there is God, created the world and there is a purpose. And you simply laugh. There is no God. So Vichar will not be possible. But same Chitta, if you have done good karmas, etc., and you are not in that dense state of kleshas becoming thinning out, then rays of the sun begin to flow through the cloud. And you see display of colors in your life. The play of role of grace, role of miracle of your karma, and so many things. And then, at that state, you have twofold possibility. Go after the illuminations that are so enchanting. Forget about this one. He is alone and somewhere burning up. Then you are going after bhava-vyadhi, disease of the world process. Because illuminations are not, they are illusory. They are like mirage. You can't really gain anything out of this. Or, if you have developed now higher stage of integration and your virtuous qualities are not drawing your soul to bhoga, to enjoyment of in the world, but drawing your soul to the practice of deep understanding, deep inquiry. You are becoming more fascinated by satsanga. You begin to develop a personality that allows satsanga to radiate. You yourself becomes a source of some satsanga. Satsanga doesn't mean you give the whole thing. Even slightest good thing comes from you. Creates a basis for good association. And if that process continues, now your goal is you begin to develop an increasing fascination to know who is the doer, who is the enjoyer, who is the knower, who is the illuminer. And the idea ego is not me becomes very simple to understand. It's a kid stuff. Ego is not you. So all this is implied when we say about the practice of Vichar. And during the state of practicing deep meditation and samadhi, your Vichar progresses in a profound way. And you initiate the whole process by Vedantic affirmations. Who am I? I am not the body, not the mind, etc. I am absolute, anadi, beginningless, all permeating Brahman. I'm just giving you some samples. There are lots of it. So, Chitta, when you proceed towards enlightenment, you are negated. So, very same mind now begins to reveal. The very same cloud, once the light has started passing through it, allegorically speaking, cloud suddenly becomes aware how beautiful it looks. And says to itself, why shouldn't I be more beautiful, more dazzling? In that process, cloud forgets about his ego. It doesn't even understand that if shining aspect begins to blossom more and more, cloud will not be there. It doesn't care. So, that's the goal of Vichar. Allowing your mind to enable you to be successful in Vichar, means mind is allowing the light to pass. But in that process, you not only become successful in your Vichar, your personality becomes decked with divine virtues. The whole practice is not done in one day. Your Vichar movement begins to change your personality. If you have been too impatient, ready to misunderstand, ready to use cruelty towards others, hold back. Your Vichar movement allows your using your heart with an art. You want to get things done in a right way, that's okay. But not in a way that's going to hurt people. You want to live with people, and you want to see things in harmony, peace, etc. But the process has to be with great patience. So the same, while the general masses go on the basis of tit for tat, slap for slap, tooth for tooth. Now your Vichar-based personality, you will not fall for that. You will find negative characteristics revealing through people based upon their sickness. Sickness is not just in bodies. Mind has gone through its own problems for a long time. So all people are not in the same level. They are having different types of internal stress and problems. So therefore, how can you bring a divine understanding in their heart softly, graciously, joyously, not with anger, hate, greed? There lies now your inner spiritual pride. You have resolved a problem without being angry and without showing your anger. And you go on discovering that power, the power of internal ahimsa, non-violence, never to have hatred and a sense of sending people to hell. So that type of internal development decks you with all virtues: forgiveness, patience, sincerity, humility, and all that you can think of. All it is. But while virtues go on developing, that means your cloud is shining more and more. But the cloud is also thinning out. Your Vichar movement, who am I, now reveals, even though you don't put it in words, even though you don't put it in your own thoughts, Your Vichar movement is bringing an internal awakening, which you begin to figure out what it is. And you use your palabras. And you share with others. I'm giving very broad, profound understanding. Otherwise, people think it's just a matter of sitting on the chair, having a list of affirmations, practicing Vedanta, and then shouting at others, why didn't you do that? That also has a stage that may have importance, but understand that kindergarten level. When you proceed towards enlightenment, you are negated, and the self that sustains your illusory existence shines forth in its own glory. The cloud is negated and the sun shines forth. If such a mystic relationship is what you want, then indeed it is a blessed movement. It's as if talking to Chitta. If that is what you want, oh, you're wonderful. Great friend. May you enjoy the expansive horizons of Samadhi until self is realized. Who realizes? Chitta doesn't. The soul realizes. Realizing soul discovers its essential nature. Sun shines. But taking some sympathetic view of the Chitta, Chitta goes into experience of expansive horizons of Samadhi. Chitta that brings all experiences, lots of thorns and lots of junk, lots of terror, lot of distress. The same Chitta enjoys soaring and diving to deep Samadhi. And so, as if he is talking to Chitta, so that is what you want? Oh, blessings, enjoy it, soar until the sun shines, until you are self-effaced. That's the bliss. That's the positive way of your role of your Chitta. But your movement towards the objects of the world will only promote increasing misery. But you don't agree to this, but you want to go through the illuminations, 7 colors that break into so many multiplicity of experiences that bring bhoga, pleasure and pain. So if Chitta does not follow that path, in Upanishadic language, Shreya, the path of Shreya, and pursues the path of Preya, that which is pleasant, that will promote increasing misery, dukkha, shok, sorrow, pain, misery. But your movement towards the self leads to unending bliss, eternal bliss. Just as ether or the sky, akasha element, is devoid of limbs, in the same way the self is devoid of sense of actorship and enjoyership. Different similes are being given. Look at the sky. The sky remains untouched. But look at the same sky in relation to drifting clouds. Clouds are little pieces of clouds. And in between those clouds, blue sky is also trapped. When you look at those clouds, you see the blue sky running. But that's an illusion. The sky is ever the same, untouched. But mental process creates the illusion that the deepest reality within you, which is Chaitanya, pure consciousness, Chidakash, that's pure consciousness is given the allegorical term Akasha. That Akasha remains untouched. All things happen on the basis of the Akasha. Clouds come, all types of clouds. Their stories of storms, hurricanes continue into pages of history. But the sky doesn't contain even a trace of it. Ever untouched. Nothing ever happened. So that sky aspect is your innermost self. That which I have described in the form of the sun. The sun remains untouched. Passing through the cloud, and in relation to reflected suns, so many things. Sun seems to do so many things. So, turning your attention to the sky-like self. The self in you is like the sky. Therefore, that self is devoid of sense of actorship and enjoyership. The sky doesn't become elated when big clouds have come with so many parties and doing dances. There is no elation in the sky. There is no enjoyership. And if they have created a lot of havoc, no distress in the sky. How do you promote that? Turn your attention to the constant involvement with ego-based evaluation of yourself. And what does it mean? Each time you suffer, and if you have read some little spiritual books, your mind begins to say, some karma that has done it. Let me explore what karma. Other way of saying, now you begin to remember, unwittingly I hurt a person, slapped the person. Now karma is slapping me. So, that's based upon the idea that you are the one, the doer. I am the doer. Now therefore, get the punishment for it, or get the fruits of your karma. When you have I am the doer, I am the enjoyer, you are trapped by law of karma. But when the I in you is discovered, The divine God is the doer, God is the enjoyer. Even that is an allegorical terminology. God has nothing to do, nothing to enjoy. But He is the light of lights, He is the source behind all your awareness. Awareness has different levels. You are aware of objects, aware of relations, aware of your pain, etc. But all these variable contents of your awareness, behind that is just invariable awareness, Chaitanya behind all. That Chaitanya you are. The real awareness in you remains absolutely untouched. But variable awareness created by ego-based mind, and result of ego-based mind is mind stretches in the form of senses. And plays its role in three levels: physical world, the world of sentiments, and the world of thinking. So coming back to the central point, understand the real I am is neither karta nor bhokta. I am not the actor, not the enjoyer. Just as waves, foam and bubbles arise in the ocean, to the same way the world arises in Brahman. In fact, the world is only an appearance sustained by the reality of Brahman. O Chitta, how can the limitations of the world be imposed on the self, who is beginningless, all-pervading, all-transcending reality? These are all. This is the guideline for how you should create your affirmation. Who am I? I am anadi, beginningless. I am sarva-vyapak, all-permeating. I am sarvatit, transcending all. But don't keep it in palabras. Go deep in understanding what it means. O Chitta, if you have developed a firm understanding that the self alone exists, permeating all directions, then my miseries have come to an end. For easy understanding, you find yourself in dream. And while dreaming, you don't have any idea that what you are experiencing is illusory. But entire dream world, entire dream universe, nothing in it is real. And you wake up and you are not shocked. Same is the predicament when you turn to the practical world, the world you are experiencing. It's described dirgha sapana. Exactly like dream. Because every experience of yours is based upon such brittle source within yourself, your brain. And behind the brain, the divine energy flows. Just like electricity creates so many websites, so many stories. And that electricity has nothing to do with those stories, no interest. Section 83. Sage Vasistha continued, O Rama, Sage Vitahavya, being endowed with a steady intellect, addressed his senses and Chitta in the following manner. Sage Vasistha is emphasizing the point that he possessed because of all his practice. Steady intellect, sthira buddhi, intellect that is not shaken by doubts, sanshaya bhavana, asambhavana, viparita bhavana. These go on shaking your intellect. So your intellect doesn't succeed in the practice of inquiry. And to just reiterate, sanshaya bhavana is doubting, is always. Your mind is not, half day you have focused your mind, this is real. Another half day focus, that may not be real. Next day you discover something else is real. By the end of the day, no, that is not real. I'm joking. The mind is, and that's, I'm joking, I'm not. This is the characteristic of a normal person. And doubting a state of mind has to be remedied. And the remedy process is not sudden, it is progressive. Your mind that was too much doubting 5 years ago, now your mind may be too much, but to a certain degree, stable, backed up by stronger faith. And sanshaya bhavana, asambhavana. Asambhavana, you have become defeated. Allow yourself not to explore. It is asambhava. It's impossible. Attaining liberation, being free of all karma. You don't even know how many karmas you have. Impossible. At least not in this life. And viparita bhavana. God doesn't exist. The world is the only reality. So stop all the chit-chats. I see nothing but, and that was given, illustration given by the mirror. You see yourself in a mirror. Somebody says, what are you seeing? Say, I'm seeing my face. But it is a blunt lie. You are seeing the mirror, not the face. What the face in your mirror is not your face, it is a reflection. But in normal understanding, though you are looking at the mirror, you don't recognize its reality. That's called viparita buddhi. You recognize the reflection in the mirror as your reality. Similarly, you don't recognize the role of consciousness. Consciousness is the mirror, pure consciousness. But you recognize, you go after reflections in the mirror. Whose reflections? Reflections of your own self. The entire world is nothing but reflections of Atma, the absolute self. Figure that out. These are so many deeper level of thinking. O Chitta, you are indeed pitiable. Like a blazing fire, you continue to burn within yourself and cause sufferings to those who become involved in you. If Chitta is not following the path of Shreya, then what does the Chitta do? It allows you to suffer from three tapas. Subjective, you are never fulfilled within your own body and mind. Objective, much less can be fulfilled with the objects and the people around. But then there is a shocking news. Act of God. Viruses. Big turmoils. All this goes on in the world process. Three tapas. So like a blazing fire, you continue to burn. Your Chitta is causing all this. And cause sufferings to those who become involved in you. Not only, it's simple point, allegorical, every individual suffers and radiates that suffering with others. So not only you suffer, but make others suffer. And with this, you shed few tears, and others begin to shed lots of tears. Can you find it how cute? I'm just giving you a picture of the normal reality. That's what happens. But you are helpless. Therefore, Chitta has to be led to attain enlightenment. You are the source of attachment and hatred, from which numerous streams of illusion continue to flow to the ocean of the world process. Mentioning attachment and hatred is Upalakshana for 5 points, 5 kleshas. Ignorance, egoism, attachment, hatred, fear of death. And these 5 kleshas bring out many branches of misery. Like torrential rains descending from the clouds, miseries arise from you. And what are those miseries? In the form of defeat, failure, disease, death. These are the highlights of miseries. In your certain venture, certain project, you become defeated. In your examinations, you fail. Suffer from diseases, janma mrityu jara vyadhi. And all the miseries, they come like torrential rains. And who did it? Chitta. Entwined with the snakes of desires, decked with the frost of frustration, this spider of the Chitta continues to weave the web of illusions in the heart of every person. Chitta is the best creator of website, because this is the real spider. And all your life is experience in the website created by Chitta, the big spider. Like an inauspicious bird, the Chitta continues to destroy the fruits of virtues in the form of serenity, self-control, righteousness, and all forms of goodness by pecking upon them with the beaks of pleasure and pain. Chitta is a nasty bird. It's both beaks. Do nasty work. They are raga and dvesha. Attachment injures your fruit, fruit of virtue. Hatred pecks into the very seed of that virtue. Ugly pecker. Inauspicious bird. Like a wild cock, this Chitta sends forth its harsh notes of passion and unravels numerous impurities of the heart from the heap of vasanas, subtle desires. Its cock's crowing. Another Chitta is like a cock, crowing. This inauspicious crow, bringing out harsh notes of passion and numerous impurities, and pecking into the mud of your vasanas. The filth that is there in the vasana, Chitta is bringing it out. In the dark night of delusion, the Chitta hoots in the tree of human personality. Who is the hooter? Owl. And its sound forebodes inauspiciousness and misery. Some of the birds are considered inauspicious, and owl is one of them. O Chitta, in your absence, all auspicious qualities begin to bloom like a lotus during sunrise. In your absence implies when Chitta begins to diminish. Instead of being intense, when the cloud begins to thin out, then all good qualities begin to develop. Giving the illustration that you begin to discover you are the calm ocean. And ocean, rather calm lake in this particular simile, decked with wonderful lotuses. Because in that discovery you discover also all divine virtues. In your presence, O Chitta, if Chitta diminishes, then you are experiencing lake with wonderful lotuses. But if Chitta is not being thinned out, you are experiencing a boisterous lake with lots of frogs, sharks and crocodiles. So choose which should you prefer. With this I am concluding. Prayer for divine grace of Karunamaya Ras, shower of divine compassion. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukma Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshyamamritat Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Hari Om Tat Sat.